All right, let's talk about the Cincinnati Bengals running game. Will they be able to get anything going against this Los Angeles Rams run defense that has been very good? Zach Taylor has gotten a lot of criticism for his run-heavy offense at times. It hasn't been that run-heavy. It is, actually above average in terms of throwing the football. It's really more been just like specific game plans that have been kind of a question mark there. And also I think part of it is the reason why people want to see the Bengals run the ball less isn't necessarily because of their running game, but more so because they have Joe Burrow in this passing game. So people kind of just want to see Burrow throw to T. Higgins and Jamar Chase all day, and Tyler Boyd. So that's what they want to see. That's what I want to see. But the running game is still going to be something that the Bengals are going to rely on. The Bengals are going to run the football. So let's talk about the success they will or won't have running the football. So first, let's talk about the key players for the running game. We got to talk about the offensive line. Typically, the way you run the football with effectiveness is with the offensive line. It's less about the halfback. And you see this offensive line broke it down when I was talking about the pass rush aspect, but now the run blocking aspect. And I should say, so what you're looking at here is these are all of the players, and then to the right, that's where they ranked in terms of PFF grade and out of how many players that are were eligible of their position. So for example, Jonah Williams at the top was 25th out of 83 eligible tackles. So he's pretty good. You do have some question marks, though. Also, the MRG, that stands for Messenger Right Guard, basically meaning Adeniji and Carmen both split time. So basically, I don't know who's going to be a starter. My guess would be they're each going to split time in this one as well. But regardless, you see some not great numbers, right? So Spain and Williams, very good. But Isaiah Prince, not great. Adeniji and Carmen, not very good. Trey Hopkins, not very good. But the one thing that you do have to say that kind of makes you feel a little bit better if you're a Bengals fan is these guys run block a lot better than they pass protect. So at least in terms of this video, it's not maybe as bad as in the pass protection because the Bengals are 20th in run blocking, as you see on the bottom of the screen. That's, again, according to PFF grade. Although this is probably the more concerning thing if you're a Bengals fan who wants to see you have effectiveness running the football. It's less about who you have and kind of more about who you're going up against with the great run defense that is the Los Angeles Rams. A lot of what the Rams do is they play two safeties deep. They kind of play a scheme that kind of allows you to run the ball, invites you to run the football, but then you have to try to run the football against guys like Greg Gaines and Aaron Donald and Von Miller and A'Shaun Robinson and Leonard Floyd. So these are 5 really good offensive linemen. A'Shaun Robinson's having a really good year, maybe kind of the underrated piece so far for the Rams. Again, it helps when you have the established guys with Aaron Donald, Von Miller, and Leonard Floyd for sure. Defensive line is tough to run the football on. The linebackers, not quite as impressive numbers. Worth mentioning, they kind of play like one linebacker in the game. These are obviously, we're talking off-ball linebackers here. So for like Troy Reeder, he's kind of the only guy who really is playing like a significant portion of snaps. Ernest Jones and even Trayvon Howard has played well when he's come in. He's just played these past few weeks and he's only getting around 20 snaps a game, but has looked pretty solid in doing that. So the Rams first in run defense. Again, this isn't in terms of like, this is just PFF grades. It's not in terms of like least amount of yards per carry given up. Certainly not total yards given up. I can't believe people actually look at that as a good run defense stat. I don't care about that. But this stuff makes more sense to me. And the Rams are very good at stopping the run. Now let's get into the film. So let's talk about the Bengals and kind of what they are probably going to try and do, which is actually, it's not that different than what they tried to do against Kansas City. And at times had some success, but at times really didn't. And a lot of what they want to do is you double team guys in the defensive line so that way you can get up and then block the linebackers after it. This is what you want to do against the Rams, right? We talked about how their strength is their defensive line. The linebackers are a position of area. It's an area you can attack for sure. And quite frankly, if you're not double teaming Aaron Donald, you're going to have some trouble. So you have to get some of these double teams at that first level before you get to the second level. However, right when this play begins, I'm going to pause it right here. You see how neither one of these guys can really get off their block and get over to the next level to block someone. There also isn't really a gap for Joe Mixon to be able to run through right here. This is good run defense by Kansas City, but it's also just, the reality is the Bengals, okay, yes, they're pass blocking or excuse me, their run blocking is a lot better than their pass blocking. Still not spectacular. It just isn't. And this is an area where it could see the Rams being able to really disrupt Joe Mixon in a lot of ways. Watch how you're going to see Mixon really is not able to get anything there. And this is why you see some, part of what made that game against Kansas City so impressive from Joe Burrow's perspective was he was starting every drive on 2nd down and 9, which that makes things more difficult. So this is a very real possibility. Another thing is just something like this. So again, to kind of set the stage a little bit of what we're going to be expecting with the Bengals going up against the Rams, is I would assume there's a lot of plays where the Rams basically are going to say, we're just going to trust someone to get off a block and make a tackle. So if the Bengals can make all their blocks, then they should be able to run the ball and pick up 8 or so yards. The issue is that's not so easy to do. And watch, this time it's going to be Willie Gay for Kansas City who's going to make the play. He's the guy who I have the black arrow pointing towards, the tight end who's going to be flashing from the right side of the screen to the left side of the screen. Look, right when this play begins, it's not like bad positioning or anything, but this is kind of the issue with just running the football in general. Oftentimes, all you need is one defender to make a play, and the running play just doesn't work. Look at how, as you see, there is going to be a quick tackle right there. They do not gain too many yards. So good stuff there by Kansas City. Good stuff by Willie Gay. But this is, again, the issue that you might be facing going up against the Rams. And it's not just a tight end blocking at a second level. You can see this. Everyone is going to miss blocks at a certain point. And for the Rams, if it only takes one guy to get around a block, well, that could be trouble. So even if you're thinking, hey, maybe just run the ball to your left side, which is pretty good, well, the issue is now that's less room for the halfback to run through. I actually think something like this is really the key to Cincinnati having success, I would say. And it's something they should make sure they do a lot of, which is just guys in motion. Motion can do a lot for you. For one thing, it just gives you a tell pre-snap. And now that I'm thinking about it, I might make a video just on that and how it could be effective against the Rams. But you see that, so you're having a receiver in motion right here, and it's not just any receiver either. This is Jamar Chase, a guy who you have to pay extra attention to. Watch how when Burrow takes the snap, you see that a linebacker kind of follows Chase here. He's paying extra attention to Chase. So doing stuff like this can help get guys out of position and just give you a little bit more room to run the football. Watch how when Burrow hands it off, you are able to just get enough of a running lane for Mixon to run through. And Mixon's a good back. Mixon will take advantage of things. If you can get him past that first level, the question is just, halfbacks are basically worthless no matter who they are if you're not getting gaps for them to run through. So that wasn't even a huge gap, but that's what you need. You need those gaps to really make sure that you have a chance in this one if you're Cincinnati. Going over to this one, it's a big example of kind of what we're talking about with basically one guy can disrupt things. This is Chris Jones, and I think you can kind of watch Chris Jones and think about, okay, Chris Jones, great player. He's going to disrupt things. That's what he does. He's a fantastic interior defensive lineman. You know who else is? Aaron Donald. So in the running game, where oftentimes you have to have one guy block, you don't get to just straight up double team anybody because someone eventually is going to have to get off a block a linebacker or something like that. Aaron Donald could have a key role. Watch on this play where Jones is going to be able to quickly get over there and make a quick tackle. That's something that I could easily see happening in the Super Bowl, which is why I think probably the best mindset is to not run the football too much in general, which has probably been the best mindset for Cincinnati to have in general, although they have not adopted that mindset. There's a lot to like about the Rams and how they stop the run, and I think that there isn't quite as much to like about the Bengals and how they actually run the football, other than if Joe Mixon gets in space, that I could see him doing some stuff. So I could see a scenario where Joe Mixon does break a big run, but that's kind of what you probably need to have a good rushing day, is to just, maybe just keep pounding the rock and hope that eventually he does break out. And then once he can do that, he can make a play. But I just don't know if I love that strategy. So all right, final chart here. As what I do with every single video I make previewing the Super Bowl, I just give, a little ranking at the end of, who do I think that at the end of this video, who do I think has the advantage in whatever I talked about? And on a scale of 1 to 5, how big of an advantage is it? So at the bottom, you see Bengals ground game. I am giving a +5 to the Rams here. Which I think checks out. I think even Bengals fans will, no fan is going to totally agree with that, but I think Bengals fans will still probably say, yeah, that's an area of weakness, just because it's less about the Bengals. The Bengals are fine at running the football. They're not bad at it. It's just that the Rams are so good at stopping it. it's hard to run the football on them. Like, very few teams can run the football on them. The schematic thing makes it a little bit different, but I still think that this is a big advantage for the Los Angeles Rams, and even the matchup I also think favors the Rams. So, I gave Joe Burrow +5, but now the Bengals lose that 5 with the ground game. So again, I'm not weighting these at all. So it's not really, don't think, oh, because I have the Rams +9 at the bottom, that means the Rams, I think, are going to win. I legitimately have not made up my mind. I keep going back and forth as to who's going to win it. But as of right now, in this silly little end thing, the Rams lead this. So yeah. Anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.